Bom dia e muito obrigado, Ângelo. Eu acho que compreendi quase todo. Eu não falo muito português, sou portunhol, but I guess for everyone's best interest, I still gonna switch to English so that your head don't hurt with my terrible portunhol. I very much appreciate the opportunity to speak to you today about Wayfair and share a little bit more about how we're building the destination for all things home across North America and Europe. And as you already mentioned, I'm Martin Medo. I lead Wayfair's international supply chain, which basically means my team looks after getting our supplier partners products from all across the world, primarily Asia, to their distribution centers across North America and Europe. And my life before Wayfair was in consulting, where the opportunity to work across many industries and countries, including Brazil. So while today I'm talking to you from our office in Berlin, I have very fond memories of my visits to Sao Paulo, Rio, Niterói, and Angra. And I'm a really big fan of a good picanha, and I've learned enough to know that I shouldn't be attempting to talk about football with anyone in Brazil. While I will start by sharing a couple of facts about Wayfair, I am looking forward towards our Q&A session. So I look forward to answering any questions that you might have about Wayfair or what has enabled us to achieve the success that we have so far. So just a little bit of an overview of the agenda. I'll start with a brief overview of our story of success. Then we'll talk a little bit about our strategic priorities and how, in particular, investing into supply chain capabilities and logistics have been one of the key enablers for success. And I'll also share a little bit about our partnership model for any of you who have already some presence in North America and Europe and are interested to learn more about how you could also be part of the success story and learn how to work with Wayfair. So, moving on. Just to start, what is Wayfair? So Wayfair is the leading online retailer for home and living, focused on a total addressable market of around $800 billion. As you already mentioned, Angela, the company was created in 2002 by our co-founders, Steve Conine and Neeraj Shah in Boston. And to this day, we are still led by our founders and still based in Boston. However, with time and with growth, we've expanded across multiple other geographies and do now have offices in the places that you already mentioned in your introduction. We are over 6,000 employees worldwide, and to date we have more than 31 million customers, which are the core of all of our actions and initiatives. We consider ourselves a very customer-focused company, and we continuously build out our catalog of now more than 22 million products to ensure that we really have something for everyone and for everyone's home on our Wayfair platform. From an e-commerce perspective, we are truly pioneers. We have been a pure online player for 18 years. As you already mentioned, we originally started as multiple niche websites called CSN Stores. We had over 240. All of those sites were, however, then brought together under the Wayfair brand in 2011. And that really marked the starting point for our impressive growth story. We finished the year 2020 with total revenues of $14.1 billion. And today, our international markets are already contributing more than 10% and are growing much faster than our core business in the US. With these opportunities that we still have ahead of us in our still relatively nascent international markets, we believe there are many years of exponential growth still to come. The sustainability of our business, as you can see, lies primarily in our ability to build a very strong customer base. Over the years, we've been able to acquire millions of customers and, even more important maybe, have been able to provide an experience to those customers that increases the share of orders coming from those customers that keep coming back. So you can see that today, over 70% of our orders are from repeat customers. There are many discussions about how much the COVID pandemic has actually impacted this industry. And as you can see in Q2 2020, we saw a massive increase in our acquisition of customers. We believe that the pandemic and the resulting shift to online spend basically can be translated into a 2 to 3 year acceleration of the natural, organic, and continuing shift of spend from the offline to the online world. So while the growth of the last year is surely something extraordinary and exceptional, we are very confident that we will continue to grow on this high base as we continue to see the customers that we acquired during the pandemic to come back and continue to shop on our platform. Let me tell you a little bit more about our brand. Wayfair is our largest brand with roughly 90% brand awareness in the US, about 70% in the UK, and already trending above 40% in Germany. If you look at the evolution of our brand strength across all of our markets and you tie it back to the moment when we actually launched our operations and investment into brand building in each market, we can see that all our markets are on a similar trajectory, and we're very confident that we will be able to become the #1 brand in all of the markets that we play in. Wayfair, however, is not our only brand. While it does cater to our average customer who's in the mass market, has an average income of roughly $8,000, we also have a broader brand portfolio to cater to other segments of our customer baseline. We have a Perigold brand that is directly targeted at our luxury market customer. And in addition, we have specialty retail brands that cover specific customer segments and styles, both for the high-end and the mass market, as are Joss & Main, Birch Lane, and All Modern, among others. So that a little bit of the high-level summary of who we are as Wayfair. And now I want to spend a little bit more time on how do we actually ensure our success. And to be able to be successful in the e-commerce space, in the categories that we operate in, the answer is pretty simple. We build and continuously optimize our business for the home category, addressing its specific challenges when shopping online. And that means we need to give our customers the confidence to buy. How do we do that? We really help them visualize the products in their home so that they can have an understanding of what their experience is going to be. We then provide inspiration and product discovery options so that our customers can really understand how they can create their specific home and furnish it in the way that they want and they love. And on top of that, we provide best-in-class customer service and delivery. While all those things sound pretty simple, executing on them is actually not. As you know, in traditional retail, customers can experience and test products before making a purchase decision. At Wayfair, we use a range of technologies and services to give the customer the same confidence online. This is crucial to convert the customer successfully, as well as to minimize the need for costly return. Both of those things drive a better customer experience. One of the good examples of how we enable to give customers confidence to buy without having the full retail experience is swatches and samples, as they address particular challenges in the upholstery category. With this, customers can order samples about the different fabrics and textiles and colors to their home so that they can have a real feel of how it would look like once they get their 3-seater delivered to their home. We use a combination of physical and digital swatches to help customers make the right choice. Furnishing a new space is tricky for most customers. It's hard to understand what is the right size, how will things actually fit into a room, how many items do I really need, how will their sizes work together, do they actually combine? What we do is we invest heavily in technology to enable customers to really be able to simulate that experience. We have capabilities like Shop the Look, so customers can experience the full theme of decoration of a place, and they can buy combining products. You can simulate products and how they would fit into the room so that you have a good understanding how much space things will take up and how they combine. And you can actually plan out a full room with all the different products to really simulate how it's going to look like once all the products arrive. I do think one of the best capabilities that we have is the ability to actually search by pictures. So you can take pictures of of things that you like, and we will suggest similar products that are available on Wayfair, so that you find exactly and easily what you're looking for. This we call shop the look. And then we have inspiration and product discovery. And this is a great example of the collaboration that exists between Wayfair and our supplier partners. While we as Wayfair provide the technology and continuously work on improvements and new features, our partners provide the required product content that is required to provide a good experience to the customer. This is imaging, 3 models, and so on, so that the experience or the merchandising of the product online can be as close to the real experience as possible. The good news is we also invest into these capabilities ourselves. So if, as a partner, you do not have the capability to generate 3D imagery, for example, we can provide those solutions as service to our partners to make sure that everyone has the same opportunity to be successful on our platform. Last but not least, anyone can probably figure out a way to ship a book or something that is small, light, and doesn't break when you ship it across the country. But shipping a C3 couch is a completely different story. To be able to address this problem, we have the best-in-class logistics network, mixing third-party carriers and our own fleet to ensure fast and high-quality delivery services from any warehouse anywhere in Europe and North America to our joint customers. And this is really one of the main unlocks to ensure that there's a high confidence of customers in purchasing with Wayfair, because obviously once you generate the right experience on the shop front that gets customers to convert, you only get customers to come back if you are able to provide a great experience in terms of the delivery and solving any issues that might happen. So this as a brief summary of the Wayfair story and what we're investing into to be successful. I now want to talk about our strategic priorities. And this is actually one of the reasons I most enjoy working at Wayfair. While many companies talk about it, at Wayfair we truly have a long-term approach to growth. And this can be really evidenced in the concrete investments we're making across our 3 strategic priority areas. They are logistics, international expansion, and penetrating the total addressable market by further expanding our customer offering across relevant categories and relevant customer segments. So let's talk a little bit about logistics. I already shared that it is a different thing to ship a 3-seater relative to shipping a book. And it is really important to understand what is the average product that we actually sell on Wayfair. If you think about our average large parcel product, that item weighs roughly 40 kilos, so a lot more than a book. And most of the supply chain networks that exist in North America and in Europe are not laid out and not optimized to move big, bulky, not regularly packaged products, but actually are optimized for large throughput of small and light items of less than 5 kilos. So building out the logistics network and infrastructure that you need to be able to cost efficiently and with good quality deliver large and bulky products to end customers is really a big requirement to be able to win in this space. This is why we have built out our proprietary logistics solution set, which we called Castlegate. CastleGate is a combination of our international supply chain capabilities, which I already briefly described, where we are able to take products from the manufacturing sites of our supplier partners that are primarily across Asia, and we move them for our suppliers either into our CastleGate network or into the dropship facilities and fulfillment networks of our partners. We then have also invested into fulfillment centers across both North America and Europe that are strategically positioned to be able to cover the largest share of the demand of those markets with fast and reliable delivery, which is one of the key challenges of most of our supplier partners that have a very limited fulfillment network footprint. Right? As you might know also from Brazil, there are a lot of companies that start the operations, they produce furniture, they can maybe put it online to sell it, but being able to then ship those products cost efficiently across a huge geographic footprint and to deliver products in 1 or 2 days is definitely not easy if you're located 3,000 miles away from the customer. So we've built this fulfillment network to be able to position the inventory that our customers want from our supplier partners across the geographic footprint close to demand to be able to have the most cost-efficient setup from the supply chain and to be able to deliver quickly to customers, even products that normally take weeks and even months to get delivered. And another step to further really build out our end-to-end capabilities and control the customer experience at the crucial point of delivering their products to their door, we've also built up our Wayfair delivery network. The Wayfair delivery network is, again, investment into our supply chain capabilities to be able to move the products from our fulfillment centers spread out across the US and the fulfillment centers of our supplier partners to the end customers. Today, over 90% of our US large parcel orders already flow through our middle mile network, and over 70% of the deliveries to our end customers are executed by the Wayfair delivery network. We are already making similar investments in Europe, where we have started our delivery network in the UK last year and are rapidly ramping up its size, and we will continue to invest in controlling a larger portion of the customer experience in this regard. And why is this so important? We obviously talk a lot about e-commerce, about technology, about the storefront, but I want to come back to the customer experience in terms of everything that happens past the order, the delivery, making sure that you can really deliver items cost effectively to customers, providing a good experience. And the big challenge that many of our partners have is the inability or the lack of scale to be able to invest the capital required to build up a network to do this at scale. And that is one of the big areas where we as Wayfair see a huge opportunity as a marketplace to really be able to aggregate and bring all the products from all the great supplier partners across the continents onto our website, and then build the supply chain capabilities that each player individually does not have the scale or the leverage to do, and be able to do it on their behalf. And with that, generating a win-win-win, both for the suppliers, for Wayfair, and at the end, most importantly, for the end customer that will get a better experience. While we have invested into our logistic network, we haven't really stopped there. In parallel to investing into our supply chain capabilities, we've also aggressively expanded our geographic footprint and have been expanding internationally at the same time. We believe that there's a significant opportunity to export our recipe across geographies, as the competitive landscape is pretty similar. It's very fragmented, there is a very limited amount of branded supply, and there's not really any dominant online player. And our experience and ability to localize our capabilities to the different markets positions us very well to win. Looking backwards, this all probably makes a lot of sense. But I think what is very exciting about this is all of these investments into getting into additional markets, Canada, UK, Germany, were all made many years ago, where Wayfair wasn't yet having a huge profit or having been able to show the market that we're able to generate sustainable profit, which we have been able to do in the recent past. So I think this really exemplifies how all the decisions that we make and how we think about our priorities and what we need to do to be successful is really thinking about the long term and how we build up the capabilities that are required to win in this space and become a much larger player even than we are already today. The third pillar, last but not least, is that we are continuously investing to further penetrate our TAM, or total addressable market. And here it's all about being able to offer everything that our customer wants for the endless list of things that our customer has to make their home feel really like their home. And while some services and categories that we're in are still in their early days, others are more mature and represent significant portions of the business. We continue to invest into the maturity of more mature categories like mattresses to drive higher conversion, more value-added services, and to increase the ticket size, while we also continuously invest into building up additional categories to really maximize the profit, the capability to provide all the options that a customer needs for their home. So by being able to offer additional categories and services, we can take a larger share of our customer spending online. I just want to give one example on one of the segments that we are still relatively early on in some of our geographies, which is B2B. Our B2B business, or the B2B segment business, currently has a run rate of over $1 billion in North America. And we are just starting to get into this segment in Europe. So this is, again, another example of how we still believe that there's a lot of opportunity for further growth and scale for Wayfair and obviously for all of our supplier partners across geographies. So all in all, we are very much convinced that the future is bright for very sustainable and fast growth for Wayfair. Last but not least, before moving to our Q&A, I want to touch on our partnership model. And I think it's very important that we are really operating like a two-handed marketplace. On the one hand side, there are joint customers, and we are investing a lot to be able to grow that customer base and provide a great experience to our customers. On the other side, our supplier partners, who are actually the ones who are designing great products and are able to source the material and optimize production to provide the right quality of products for the customers. And we completely trust the expertise of our partners on developing the right products for our customers. What we focus on is to provide the platform and the ecosystem in terms of transportation, warehousing, technology, shopping experience, to be able to bring those two sides of the market together so that everyone can win. So for us, our suppliers are really our partners, and that's also how we think about that. In order to make the success replicable and to help all of our partners to be successful or to have the same chances to be successful on Wayfair, we have developed what we call the Wayfair recipe. And we have a team dedicated and focused on helping our partners leverage the Wayfair platform by following the Wayfair recipe to drive their own business success. Not going to go through all of these, but we do invest significant time and energy to help suppliers to position their products competitively on the platform, make sure that it's competitively priced, giving them insights into how they compare to competition. We also help with the right supply chain setup and technological investments required to be able to drive a good customer experience. And where there are opportunities that are maybe too expensive to build own capabilities as a supplier, we have our enablers where we help compensate those capability gaps, as for example, our logistics capabilities that I talked about earlier. And while obviously we are always learning and improving, we just wanted to share a couple of quotes of how our partners are really appreciative of the collaboration, and that we're really in this to help everybody win, because by working together, we can for sure provide a better customer experience and take more share in this market. I don't want to spend a lot of time on these last few pages because you can do a follow-up on our website and learn more about how you can actually sell on Wayfair. I just want to quickly share a couple of requirements for being able to do so. So if you want to sell on Wayfair, you do need to have a setup in any of the markets that you're interested in working with us, be it in North America or in Europe, and you need to have some sort of capabilities that can either be your own or via 3PL. But I invite you to go directly to our Sell on Wayfair link, which you can find on any Wayfair website, or if you want, reach out directly to Stefan Plattner for any interest and questions regarding collaborating with Wayfair in Europe, or Charlie Reichenbach for any questions on collaborating with Wayfair in North America. And we're obviously happy to answer any questions that you have in that regard. We have a setup to support you if you're interested in working and selling on Wayfair. And with that, I hand it over back to you, Angelo, for Q&A. Andres.
Okay.
Sorry.
Thanks, Martin, for sharing for this wonderful content. I was really impressed with your logistics performance for the large items in the United States and throughout the world. You can deliver really fast compared to the Brazilian reality. And the reason for that is many of the factories that operate in the drop shipping model, they are more connected to the make-to-order business instead of the build-to-order business. So it takes more time for them to manufacture the goods, so the goods are prepared and ready to ship from the e-commerce. What are the hints or what are the advice that you could share with the suppliers that are watching us, and they could learn from your expertise, from your experience at Wayfair, how they can prepare the factories to have the stock ready to ship?
Yeah, this is obviously also a challenge that we see in different segments. I can share maybe a little bit of a simile. We have in North America, most of what we sell is actually imported, right? So most of the suppliers are purchasing stuff that is manufactured in Asia. They need to store it in the US to then be able to sell it. So while there's still challenges to set up the dropship capabilities and evolving their operations from serving traditional offline retailers, shipping them pallets in full trucks versus shipping individual packages to end customers, we have a very similar situation in Europe, in Eastern Europe particularly, where there are a lot of manufacturers as well. Let's take, for example, Poland. Polish suppliers, they are mainly manufacturers. They've invested a lot of capital into being able to produce quite good furniture at very competitive rates, even being able to compete with Asian manufacturing. But they also have a made-to-order model. And then obviously in e-commerce, customers expect fast deliveries. So I think there are a couple of things that are important to do here. One, and this is maybe well, the simplest thing from an e-commerce perspective, but not so simple for a manufacturer, is to invest into forecasting or collaborate with your sales channel and having a good understanding of which products and which options and which configurations actually consolidate the largest portion of demand, and then pre-produce those and stock them, right? And have the ability to actually have storage for this inventory that is going to turn faster, to be able to offer the top selling items with fast delivery times. And then still, if customers want to have different configurations, still have your main business as made to order. The difficult part here is the transition, right? Because you are probably selling most of your production still in a B2B environment, and to change the way you operate is very capital intensive, and it's difficult to determine what is the right moment to make that shift. So one of the things that we do collaborating with other manufacturers is to actually look into production schedules, to test out which products that you might currently be manufacturing. You can play with lead times to understand how that impacts conversion. So you can say, well, I have an order of a certain product that is a top seller in the offline segment, and I'm going to manufacture more. Or I'm going to manufacture whatever my order is, but with a little bit of incremental volume. And then I'm going to change the lead time for that particular product that is currently in my production cycle to see if there's an uplift in conversion. And that helps to experiment, to get some data on what is actually the business case and the ROI of investing into pre-production, of having the ability to provide certain products with a shorter lead time, which then also gives confidence to say, okay, I'm now going to make an investment and I'm going to tie back capital into these products, because I've seen how my conversion rate spikes when I'm able to reduce the lead time from months, weeks to days. So I hope that provides a little bit of context of different strategies, some more radical, where you say, okay, I'm going to put in the capital, build a warehouse, pre-produce, put in inventory, and then have a dropship capability, which is probably not something that people or everyone can do. But there are options to experiment with tweaking lead times based on production cycles, looking where there is space in the production capacity, and how to really optimize for production capacity, lead time, and then also the logistics, which probably is also a big problem in Brazil, given the distances, right? That you have the ability to also move products quickly to the end customer. Depends on what are the capabilities of the channel and how much flexibility do you have to dynamically move lead time and to then get sufficient data on how that influences conversion rate and customer behavior on the shop front.
Yeah, that was tremendous. I was impressed with the answer, because it covered a lot more than the question. So we learned a lot from you. So it was very, very nice. I do have another question, which is a concern on our side here in Brazil, and of course, it is a sustainable concern. At the end of the life cycle, the order life cycle, when you have a return from these suppliers, what is the responsibility? Wayfair is handling the technology side. How do you collect these goods, and what do you do with them? You send them back to the factory. You work on the refurbished site. What is the value proposition on the entire chain for the returns?
Yeah, so I mean, it is evolving. It's a little bit different depending where you're looking at this topic, but our philosophy remains the same, right? The ownership of the product and the responsibility of a return lies with the expert of the product. What we invest into is to provide optionality, right? So we can give the option to a supplier to say, if you have the best and the most cost-efficient setup to solve, grade, refurbish, and get the ability to monetize on this return, we will provide you the service to get the product back to you. but we also invest into our own capabilities that we are actually able to provide that as a service to our suppliers. So we also do grading. We are investing into our ability to then monetize those returns, either by selling it back if it is new, or by selling it and auctioning it, or selling it kind of at bulk if it is not. And then we basically give our supply partners the option and say, these are our unit economics. At this cost, we can offer you the service. If you are able to do this with better unit economics, we would actually encourage you to do it yourself.
Martin, hopefully we have lower restrictions next year, and I want to extend maybe an invitation for you to come physically in Brazil to explain a little bit more about other areas of your presentation. But I would like to thank you in the name of e-commerce Brazil for the richness of the content and for your time sharing you with us. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Angelo. My pleasure. Muito obrigado e bom dia para você.
E aí, gostou do vídeo? Então não deixe de curtir e compartilhar. Aqui do lado tem 2 sugestões que você pode gostar. Até a próxima!